Hello fight fans, welcome back to What Culture Combat. I am Gareth, of course, as always. I'm here. Today I'm wearing my pineapple t-shirt again because I know you guys love it. You love the pineapple t-shirt, so I brought it back and I brought with it some news. I brought some awesome news that's broken overnight and we're going to jump straight into it. The first piece of news we're going to cover today is all around Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier, that third fight. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen soon? Well, I can tell you right now that it seems like it potentially could happen maybe even in summer. So there you go. We've gone from maybe it won't happen, maybe we'll have to just see Daniel Cormier walk off into the sunset without fighting again, to now potentially this could happen very, very soon, maybe even July, August time. But I digress. I'm going to go into the quote. This is Miocic was talking to TMZ Sports. I believe he was talking to them yesterday. He said that in terms of the rubber match with Cormier, he said, yeah, if that's what the UFC wants, I'm not the matchmaker. Like I always say, if I was the matchmaker, I wouldn't be fighting. It sucks. It sucks for him that he's going to lose again. This was after, obviously, he's had a lot of eye trouble after that last fight with DC. He had a really substantial injury there with his eye, and he's had surgery now. He said that he's still getting spots. He's still having not massive trouble with his vision now, but every now and again he still gets spots. But they're just taking it day by day. But as of now, he's slowly getting back into the gym, and it seems like he is going to be on schedule for a summer return. But he's kind of ever cocky in this interview. He said that, yeah, it's unfortunate that Cormier's last fight is going to be against Miocic and he's going to lose. So it's good to see from the heavyweight champ. It feels like it's been an era, an absolute era since the last time we saw Miocic. A lot's changed in the heavyweight division. Just in his division, a lot's changed. So if he can get past Cormier, hopefully we see either a Jairzinho Rozenstruik or Francis Ngannou fight in the future. You want to see the actual contenders. I've said this time and time again. You want to see the contenders in this heavyweight division actually going for a title. You feel like all these guys are absolutely brutalizing and destroying each other for no real prize at the moment because it's being held hostage by an injury which is no fault of his own, but it's being held hostage by this potential fight that could be or couldn't be happening. But finally, it looks like it could be happening, so that's awesome news. Okay, moving along now, we're going to go backwards to go forwards. That sounded better in my head, but yeah, we're going to go back to Saturday night where we had UFC 248 and we had the middleweight clash, which was awesome. It was the greatest fight you've ever seen in your lives. I mean, it was just worth the price of admission alone. And of course, if you watch that fight, you know that I'm completely lying. It was probably one of the worst fights we've seen this year. But that largely, a lot of people threw a lot of stones at Izzy, but I said yesterday, I don't think now it's that much of his fault because he was the champion. He was defending the title. He wasn't the person who had to be the aggressor. So a lot of the blame surely has to be put on Yoel Romero. Well, his manager has actually come out and said that we can label Yoel as a gatekeeper at this point, but if he knocks out 3 guys in devastating fashion, everyone's going to be saying Yoel's the best middleweight and he needs another title shot. If guys can't beat Yoel, then eventually the only guy left is Yoel. So he's suggesting there that even though he's completely just thrown away maybe his last ever title shot, they can now use this as him being a barrier to the rest of the middleweight division, so people have to go through him to get to Izzy, and if he puts enough people back down, he's only going to be the person that makes sense to have that title shot. I'm not sure if it's going to work that way because Dana White didn't seem best pleased about what went down with Yoel Romero in that fight. And he said as well, we've got a quote from Dana. He said that he scoffed at the idea. He said if he comes back in his next fight and looks like Yoel Romero, then the door might be left open for a title shot going forward. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't expect him to fight another 10 years looking like that. So yeah, because obviously Yoel said that he wants to fight for a long time, like forward now until he's in his 50s. But if he keeps fighting the way he's fighting, Dana White's not going to be offering him fights because people aren't going to want to watch it. Nobody wants to watch a guy just stand there doing a weird YMCA thing with his arms and doing a weird shuffle like you're toggling around on your remote control. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. I didn't want to see that. I didn't think we were going to see that, but you just never know what's going to happen. That works both ways with the UFC. Sometimes you get something incredible, sometimes you get something that's just a bit of a dud. Okay, now we're in the business end of this MMA news day, and of course we're going to talk about Khabib Nurmagomedov because he's got his big epic clash with Tony Ferguson on the horizon. Guys, just pray to the MMA gods that we're going to get this fight because we deserve it. We don't get nice things sometimes. We had that Izzy Yoel fight and that wasn't what we wanted it to be, and we want this. Just please be as good as what we think it's going to be. But that's a whole nother story. What I'm going to talk about today is the fact that Khabib believes that if Justin Gaethje and Conor do have a fight, it might be a bit more even than some people have been suggesting. I'll explain. In his quote, he said, and he was speaking to MMA Junkie at a recent Dominant MMA media event, he said, Justin Gaethje and Conor, it's a hard question. My opinion, I want Justin Gaethje, because of course he does, but I think it's 50-50. I think you guys think it's 50-50 too, but it's going to be a stand-up fight. Justin is good, Conor is good on the stand-up. I think it's going to be 50-50. Yeah, it's a tough one. I think on form and the fact that he's had more fights under his belt recently, Justin Gaethje may be the person that a lot of the diehards are saying, yeah, he's the guy to roll over Conor. A lot of the diehards want him to roll over Conor because it's almost like the working man taking out the superstar, the pop star, which is very similar to the feeling, the vibe around Cowboy Cerrone going into that fight with Conor. It was very much, okay, this is our guy, Cowboy's our guy, he's going to take down this established superstar Conor, but that didn't happen. With Gaethje, that's a lot more realistic. Gaethje is frightening. He's one of the most frightening prospects in all the UFC, not just the lightweight division. So if those two stand up and came to blows, it'd just be incredible. Again, we've said that a lot recently, and sometimes it hasn't lived up to the billing, but I believe this definitely would. These two just scream Showtime, blockbuster, incredible. So hopefully that fight does happen, but a lot of people are suggesting that Conor might not fight until October time, even though he wants to be as active as possible. I'd love to see this fight happen maybe in July. It might have to push the Usman-Masvidal fight further down the line, which is what it is. It's been a while since we've seen Masvidal fight. Maybe he does need another fight as well, but I feel like this fight makes a lot more sense. It's going to earn UFC a lot more money. I think more people want to see that fight, want to see Conor fight again, and it'd be a great fight for Gaethje. Imagine if Gaethje wins that fight. That blows everything wide open. Suddenly, he goes above Khabib. How could you give Conor that next shot against Khabib or Tony if he lost to Gaethje? I mean, weirder things have happened, but I don't think you can. Speaking of Conor, he's actually done something quite nice. As you probably know by now, he's got his Proper 12 whiskey company. It's doing quite well all around the world, America, Australia, Ireland. Not really in the UK. I've not had my bottle sent to me yet, Conor, but I'm still waiting. It's fine. But it turns out that he's actually just donated $1 million of his profits from Proper 12 to first responders organizations in New York. The actual quote, which was a press release provided by the Mac Life, is that the company is proud to announce it has selected the New York headquartered Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation to receive this $1 million donation for the United States. The donation will go towards paying off the mortgages for families of law enforcement officers and firefighters across the country who were killed in the line of duty and left behind young children. It's lovely to see that this organization isn't just a get-rich thing where he's obviously getting quite rich off it anyway, but they're giving stuff back. $1 million is a lot of money, and it's brilliant that it's being used to help families like this who've been affected by their loved ones being killed in the line of duty. They do an incredible job, and it's just worth noting every now and again that it's just a bit bigger than fighting as a whole. Just families being looked after thanks to people in fighting. So great work from Conor there. It's nice to see this side of him. Obviously, a lot of the time it's just him kind of mouthing off and being in the headlines for the wrong reasons, but when he is in there for the right reasons, it's worth talking about as well. And those have been our MMA news stories for the day. As always, do not forget to like, share, click on that subscribe button, ring the bell for all things awesome and amazing from What Culture Combat. I have been Gareth from What Culture Combat. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.